Hello, how are you? It's been quite a while since I've made a podcast, so I guess it was a self-imposed hiatus. Life, pretty hectic life got in the way. But anyway, starting over with episode 6, and I have some notes here, so if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. So this is sort of like starting all over for me, and if you've watched the podcast in the past, thank you very much for coming back and trying me out again. And if you're new to the podcast, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sashka, and you can find me as SashkaKnits on Ravelry, on Twitter, and on Instagram. And today is Saturday, August 22nd. Happy birthday to my son David, who's 28 today. So everybody knows what I was doing 28 years ago today. And today, apparently, David is feeding the penguins at the zoo in Calgary. So David is a penguin lover. Anything to do with penguins, David loves. So anyway, happy birthday, David. I hope you have a great time feeding the penguins. I wish I was there with you. And I hope you take lots and lots of pictures and that you have lots of fun. So have fun, David and Corey, feeding the penguins. Before we get started, I have an announcement to make. My husband and I are going on an adventure. We've been planning this for a little while, and according to our refrigerator, which is telling me we're leaving in 9 days, but that's just our goal date. It's actually more like about 2 to 3 weeks. We're leaving for 9 months in our travel trailer to go adventuring. We're going to spend a little bit of time in Canada before we head down into the States for 6 months. We have a 23-foot travel trailer and an 18-year-old cat, and we have no real destination in mind except we don't want to have snow. So south. Although we anticipate we'll get to spend a fair bit of time at the beginning and the end of our journey in some of the northern states. So we do have a travel blog. And my husband's doing goofy things on the side. We do have a travel blog, and I will put the web address in the show notes. It's called trailertramps.com, and both my husband and I will be blogging about our journey and taking lots of photographs, I hope. Sorry about the ums. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done this. We are going to stay off the main roads. We're going to be hoping to meet some people and try out some local foods. I'm hoping to meet knitters and friends from online. I'm hoping to go to some fiber festivals. And I'm hoping to go to some yarn stores. So please PM me or leave me a message on Ravelry if you have some favorites. Oh, I have a Ravelry group, so please you can leave me a message there. There'll be notes in show notes there, and please join the Ravelry group. Friend me on Ravelry. I would love that. Especially, if you are in the States, and we can keep in touch. And if you know some great out-of-the-way places for us to visit, or some favorite watering holes, that would be great too. So I'd love to hear about that. So we've been spending the last several months getting ready. We have had, there's a lot of things, you just don't get up and go, which was our original plan, was, hey, let's just go away. There's a lot to do, and we've been doing all those things. I retired from my job at the end of April. So my in real life job as an accountant, and I am working part-time for myself from home. So I am a tech editor for Knitting Patterns, and I'm also getting my designer mojo back. So after a really intense period at work, things are starting to fall into place right now. So pretty happy. We're pretty excited, or I'm pretty excited. My husband, right now, he is still working. He has 4 work days left. So next Friday afternoon, you might hear a lot of yelling and celebrating from northern BC. That'll be us. And yeah, kind of exciting. Like I said, I pretty well can't stop smiling about it. So back to the podcast. So in this, I have a lot to talk about, and I'm not going to show you every single thing I finished in the last, I think, since December, but I do have some finished objects that I've recently finished that I'll show you. So I have some knitting, I have some crochet, I have some dyeing, some spinning, some sewing, and some acquisitions. So that's a lot of stuff, and I hope you stick around, because at the end, or near the end, I have an announcement that's really exciting, which involves a prize, not in my podcast, but a prize on Ravelry, and I think it's kind of exciting. So for knitting, finished objects. So the first thing I have to show you are some socks. So let's see if you can see these. These are the broken seed stitch socks, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry by Handy Pandy, HANDE PANDE again. I'll put it in the show notes. It's a really nice pattern. What attracted me to it is that it breaks up variegated yarns, and it extends your yarn. And not that I didn't have a lot of the variegated yarn, but I didn't have a lot of the yarn that I was using to extend it. So one of the podcasts that actually 2 of the podcasts that I watch have brown bag sock clubs. One is called Two Tangled Skeins, and the other one is Canadian Knitter, Canadian pod. I'll put the names of the podcasts and links in the show notes. So they're Canadian podcasts, and I watch them quite often. They're really good. I watch a lot of podcasts. I really enjoy I was just going to say I really enjoy Canadian podcasts, but I also watch a lot of podcasts from different countries and the United States. I really like to watch a lot of knitters, different knitters, and what projects they're doing and what their motivations are, and I get a lot of ideas. I do. Anyway, so back to the socks. So in my, I started this because I have a lot of sock yarn. And when I went to knit socks, I was just going to either my most recently purchased sock yarn or what I guess the most attractive sock yarn, and certain sock yarns were not getting used. And it's kind of fun when you surprise yourself. So I put all my sock yarns that were going to be used for socks into brown bags and put them on top of a shelf in my bedroom, and every time I am ready to make some socks, I just shuffle around in there and I grab some, and then those are the socks that I'm going to make. So this is what I grabbed. I have no idea why I bought this yarn. I have actually knit a toy out of it, which I held double. This is called, it's the colorway Safari, and it's Hirt Garn. It's 75% superwash, 25% polyamide. And I do have another colorway, it's like got a gold background, and it does knit up in tiger stripes. It's really fine sock yarn, so you have to knit it on like smaller needles than you normally would. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I am not really an animal print sock wearer. And so when I came up with this, I thought I have to find a pattern that I can use that isn't another animal print sock. So this has been in my library for quite a while, and I decided to knit this. So I had some leftover Tosh sock, and this is the Thorough colorway. It's olivey green with bits of gold in it. So I had some of this left over. And that's the reason why these are so short and why they have contrast heels and toes, because I didn't have a whole lot of this. So I weighed it out and I made it into 2 balls. And I was worried about running out. So that's why they fit really nice, and now I love these socks. I love them. They fit well, they look nice, they're kind of camo socks. And if I'd thought about it actually before, if I thought about it, I would have made them to fit my husband, but they're not big enough for him, so they're mine. And I still have this much left over. So I'm thinking if anybody wants this, PM me. Here, put it right there. PM me and I'll send it to you, because I've used it for 2 projects. I am not going to use this again. So like I said, I am going to pack this away. So if you do want it, let me know by, say, September 1st, and I'll send it to you. And if 2 people want it, I'll send you 1 each, or the first person, or whatever. And you can even have these. So anyway, here we go. Finished object number 1. And I'm surrounded by stuff, so I'm just going to be finding places to put this stuff. So my second finished object, I love this, is I got on the bandwagon, I got on the train that left the exploration station, and I made one of my own. So this is coming out a lot orangier, warmer. Sorry, I'm going to cover my face here. This was really lots of fun. And it's my husband likes it. He says it reminds him of Arizona, which is really, really nice, because that's where we went on our honeymoon. So I knit this out of Ancient Arts fiber, and I bought all the yarn at Olds Fiber Week in June when I was there, and I'm gonna mention Olds a couple of times during the podcast. So Olds is sort of like my fiber festival. It's in Alberta at Olds College, which is an agriculture college, and it happens to be exactly halfway between where both my children live. So my one daughter lives in Red Deer, I only have one daughter. My daughter lives in Red Deer, and my son lives in Calgary, and Olds is like almost smack right in the middle. And I stayed in Red Deer, and I commuted to Olds, and I took 4 classes. But anyway, I love Ancient Arts yarn, and this is all BFL, fingering weight. All of it is 100% BFL, except for this one here, which is 80% BFL and 20% nylon. So I really enjoyed knitting this. It had lots of interesting techniques, like so you finished one little bit and then you did another little bit, and it kept your interest going. I found the I-cord bind off relaxing. So, like I said, I really enjoy this. Not as wild colored as some of the ones that I've seen, but I think it does suit me. And really, like I say, I think I was probably one of the last people to get on that train, but I'm glad I did. And I have made some other Stephen West shawls, and I will make some more. I think I am planning to make the Excuse Me shawl and the Excuse Me hat. I have both those patterns. I've made the striped S-Jin, which just came out this summer, which I love. I just love that one so much, and I'll probably make another one. And what is surprising, not surprising, but so you use 4 different colors, which, okay, you think that can be expensive because 4 skeins of nice sock yarn are, what, maybe average $25 each? But look how much I have left over. So this is at least half a ball. So there's, plenty left over to do something else with here. So you're not using all the yarn, and if you have really nice yarn, you're going to be able to use that for something else, right? So, and you have a really nice size shawl. Like this is it fits well. It's a really nice size shawl. So, and that one, and then the other thing. I knit a lot for my granddaughter, Penny, because who doesn't like knitting for children? Well, okay, there are probably lots of people who don't like knitting for children, probably if you don't have children. But once you start knitting for children, once you have children to knit for, wow, you can get stuff done really fast. And I love knitting for Penny a lot because she really appreciates my hand knitting, and when I see her, I don't see her very often, maybe 5 or 6 times a year, and she's like, Grandma, what did you knit me? So I knit the flower cardigan by Yulin Murak. Anyway, I'll show you a picture of it because it is a paid for pattern, but I'm not giving anything away. I bought it on Ravelry. And I made the size 6. Penny is 4, but she's very tall. She's tall and thin, so she'll wear it for a while. And I'll be making size 6 for her, and she's getting a good wear out of it. So here's the back. Can you see the flower? I don't know if you can see the flower. Anyway. And the front. So it's very clever construction. It's all in one piece. You start in the back, in the middle, and you make the hexagon. And then you just continue on with the back, and then that completes the fronts, and then you pick up stitches for the sleeves. So I found these really adorable buttons in my button stash. And when I see her, we're heading over to Alberta on the first leg of our journey. So when I see her, I'll be giving this to her. And she started pre-kindergarten this year. So this is her back to school sweater. So I dyed this yarn. I've hand dyed yarn before, and sock yarn. And I took a dyeing class with Caroline Summerfield at Olds. And Caroline is the dyer behind Ancient Arts Fibers. And so anyway, when I came back, I was all pumped up for dyeing yarn, and I had some bare yarn. This is DK Weight Superwash, and this is the bare yarn from Knit Picks. It is so nice and squishy, I know my daughter will not wash it in the washer, but it can be. I soaked it, like after I knit it, I soaked it with Eucalan, and then superwash stretches. So I dried it in the dryer until it was almost dry, and then I laid it flat to dry, and it was perfect. But my daughter is so careful with hand knits, and she's the perfect mom for knitting. So anyway, this turned out really, really well, and I've already figured out the next knitting for Penny, but it is already packed. So I have to finish some of my other things up. What I've been trying to do is finish up all of my works in progress. So I just don't have like a bunch of things that are like 90% done that I'm taking with me on the road. And I do like to have several things to work on at the same time. Just I need an easy thing, a complicated thing, a sock, a design, maybe something for Penny. But I had like 2 pairs of socks, 2 sweaters, 3 shawls. Like, it was crazy, and it was overwhelming, and I wasn't getting anything done, and all of them were almost done. So I concentrated on getting things done. So when I hit the road, I won't have like a bunch of stuff that's almost done that I'm not going to use on the trip. So anyway, this. And then the last finished item that I'm going to show you, I'm actually wearing. So let's see if I can get it so you can see it better. So this is a cropped cardigan. It's called Cardoon, and it's designed by Marie Wallen. It's knit in pieces, and I made the 3rd size. So this is the pattern. 1 page, not even a full page, this much, and there's all my notes on it. I don't know if anyone does that. I do have like I actually have a Surface Pro that I can write on, so I could like import the patterns into OneNote and I can make my notes on it and everything. But I like to have the paper pattern, and I made quite a few modifications to this. So I like to have the notes to look at while I'm doing it. So anyway, I'll let you know what the modifications are. So I knit this out of Bergère de France Bergerine in the Frambois colorway. It's 50% cotton and 50% wool, and I got it on sale. I think it was half price from Daramore's, and I used I had like a yard left. And you can see, I don't know if you can see, but I'll link it. But here's the picture. It's a free pattern. So anyway, see, it's all loose and falling off the shoulders. That's not what it looks like on Ravelry. And that's not how I like to wear my clothes. But the construction, it was very interesting, and I liked that. So I really wanted to use this yarn, and I really liked this pattern, so I decided to go for it. So the modifications I made. First of all, I was knitting the back, and it was using yarn a lot faster than I thought it was going to. So I was worried that I wasn't going to have enough yarn for the sleeves. So I decided to knit the sleeves top down in flat, like not set in. So I reversed the sleeve instructions to knit them from the sleeve, like the top down. So so I knew how much, after I knit the back and the 2 fronts, I divided my yarn in half and left a little bit for finishing the front. And then I started at the top. Well, and as you can see, I had enough yarn to make long sleeves. But I So I could have done them the correct way, but I didn't. And then the other thing is they had a different front band. And I'm just looking at the instructions, and I don't want to read through the whole thing, but basically what I did is I just went around and I knit 2 rows of garter, and then I bound it off. And then when I tried it on, it was falling off my shoulders. Of course it was. I mean, I can see it's doing that in the pattern. So I crocheted from shoulder to shoulder and along the back seam, and I pulled it in quite a bit because I hate to be fussing with my clothes, so that helped it a lot, and so I was quite happy with that. And then the last thing is when they did the buttonhole, it was so far in that this front bit here, and you can see it, flipped up, so I had to put a snap here. So anyway, I quite like it. It looks really nice with this dress. I think it'll look really nice with like a t-shirt or a tank top and jeans. It's really warm right now, but it'll be perfect for like cool nights or things like that. So I'm really happy that I knit it. So that's it for finished objects. So pretty pleased. So anyway, if you have any, I don't have these in my projects yet. In fact, I don't have any of my knitting for this entire year in my projects yet, but my husband has volunteered to help me photograph them and get them into my projects before we go. So maybe we'll do that this weekend. So, works in progress. So this is a sock. I have this in a sock bag. Isn't this cute? I bought this at Olds. I decided to treat myself. This is by sewnbylindsay.com. She actually had yarn as well, and these nice little project bags. So it's got these cats looking at fish bowls, and it's got this little fish charm. Really well made, so quite like it anyway. So that was one of my treats, and this. So I've got one sock finished, and I am almost to the toe. Second sock. So I'm knitting this on 2 circular needles. These are 2.5. These are knit picks. Bamboo, I think, or some kind of wood. These are not my favorite needles. In fact, I'll probably toss these out when I'm done. I've knit maybe, I don't know, 4 pairs of socks. That's not very many on these. And these ends are already trashed. I've had to file them several times already because they're catching the yarn. I'm not that hard on my needles. I don't know, maybe I'll keep them for storing stuff on. But anyway, I'll tell you about the yarn. So anyway, these are just vanilla socks, as you can see. I've used Megan Williams, Oh My God heel, which I really like. It fits me really well. It hugs around my heel. So I use it quite a lot. And this yarn, I dyed it. It's one of the classes I took at Olds with Caroline Summerfield. I took self-striping dyeing class, and it was really fun. So we learned several methods. Now, I learned something from this. It takes a long time, and when you buy self-striping sock yarn from indie dyers, you know, it's worth it. It's worth the money that you pay for that yarn, because there's a lot of work involved. I would do this again, not to sell. I mean, it's a lot, like I said, it's a lot of work involved, and I don't know how they're making any money. I mean, they must love it a lot. Or they have it down to an art, or they make a whole bunch at one time. But so you can see my stripes are pretty short. So what I would do again, I was hoping for longer stripes, so that was a learning thing. I would make mine longer. I like the colors that I picked, and what I did is I had a project bag with me. See if I can find it. Here it is. I had a project bag with me, this one, that I used as an inspiration for my colors. So like, I think if you're going to do something like that, it's a good idea to have a photograph or a piece of fabric or something where the colors are in there in proportion to what you like already, and then you can, like, you know, it's going to work. So anyway, I wanted to get this sock on the needles so bad, because I just want to see how it dyed up, and I was really, really happy because I always wanted to know how they did that. And basically it took hours. Like I said, I enjoyed it a lot. I will do it again for myself, and I'm looking forward. I already have like ideas going on in my head, so I'm really looking forward to put that in the wrong bag. Where did it go? Here it is. I'm really looking forward to doing some more. So this one is almost done. So next time it will be done. So that one is one of the things in my work in progress. So project bags, sewn by Lindsay. I'll put a link. Very nice. She's got this little pocket at the front, and some little cards in here. Let's see if you can see that. So, you know, you can, it just says the pattern name, what hooks you used, where the pattern's located. I don't know if that means a lot to me. I think I'm going to put a photograph in there of my family or something, or I don't know, maybe the inspiration, maybe a picture of the project, so when I pick it up I'll know what's in there. That might be a good idea. I don't know. Anyway, I do have a project I did not work on this week, so I will not show it to you, but if I get something done, maybe I will. I don't know. I'm not inspired by it right now, so it's just hiding his face in shame. Well, not in shame. Oh, and then this one. I love this. And this was a huge challenge for me, and I really like to challenge myself. Like, I think it's a good thing as a knitter to challenge yourself. Well, as anything, like, I think it's good to always be challenging yourself. So this is brioche, 2-color brioche. Isn't that beautiful? I can't stop touching this. This is the Willow pattern by Nancy Marchant. I am using Drops Kid Silk, this dark purple, and I am using Debbie Bliss Party Angel, and this is like white. It's got white. Can you see the sparkles? I don't know if you can see the sparkles. Maybe you can see the sparkles better in this. Maybe. So there's the front, and there's the back. So there's a light side and a dark side. And you can see I got a lifeline here, and I just put a lifeline in here. So when I do the next 12 rows, I'll take this one out and I'll put it in up here. So this is, like I said, 2-color brioche. It's got increases, decreases, it's got this one, it's like where you make 3 stitches out of 2, and it's a bark yarn over bark, and I go bork bork every time I get to it, so it's kind of, anyway, makes it fun. I ripped it out twice to get started. There are errors in here. I'm living with them. I'm okay with that. This is a learning project. It's still beautiful. I can't even see the errors anymore now that I've gotten past them. It's actually not taking that long now that I'm getting the hang of it. And it is so soft. I am totally in love. In fact, I've already ordered more yarn. And I was actually worried that, because living in northern BC, it takes a bit longer for stuff to get here. Now I've got fluff on my nose, sorry. So I actually ordered yarn and had it delivered to my mom's house, she's in Red Deer, and it's already got there. So, like, my mom has my yarn, and I'm like, give it to me! Give me that yarn! But anyway, so I will be knitting some more brioche, 2-color brioche patterns out of mohair. Anyway, so what else can I tell you about this pattern? It's called Willow. It's only available in a book, so I ordered it, and I'll show you the book later because that's one of my acquisitions. I'm knitting it on Haya Sharps 4.5. Now I would not, if I had a 4.5 needle on a short cable, because you have to use a cable, it has to be double pointed because you're sliding your, you're doing 2 colors in 1 row. I would not use metals. I would use something grippier, like woods for sure. And I think as soon as I get someplace where I can buy a needle that is more appropriate, I am going to. So definitely for this kind of knitting with this yarn, not a good choice. The sharp is a good choice, but the metal, not so good. The pattern is really well written. The book is fabulous. Like I said, I'll tell you a little bit more about it at the end when I talk about my acquisitions. So the yarn, oh, is so nice. So it is a mohair, and I'll just show you here. Both these yarns are just slightly different weights, which gives it a little bit of interest. And I think with something like at this loose of a gauge, it doesn't really matter. I don't know if you can tell. Can you see that? A little bit? I mean, it's both so fluffy, and the ball bands actually suggest the same needle size. And you know, I never would have bought mohair, and I'm not a mohair fan. Like for a garment, like, it's not really me, but for a scarf, it's just divine. I can't even explain it. Like, to me, this is like a fairy wonderland scarf. And like, how many mohair scarves can a person have? So, I'll show you the pattern. I do photocopy patterns out of books, which you are allowed to do for your own use. So here is a picture. And there are lots of projects on Ravelry. There was a knit along earlier in the year. Like, the book just came out in December. There was a knit along, I think, in February. So I read through the whole thread and where other people had problems. Like, there's this one 4-stitch decrease. So suggestions about that. And some of the projects are so, I mean, all of the projects are so gorgeous. All of the yarn choices. And I'm like, oh, I want to make one out of this kind of yarn and make one out of that kind of yarn. So definitely a good choice. If you make one, I would love to see what you're making. Okay, so my last work in progress is a design. So I did actually show you some of this yarn before. This is Malabrigo worsted. So this color is vermilion, I believe. It's color number 24. It's vermilion. So I mean, red just does not show up really well. This color is cocoa. So look at those together. Beautiful. And soft. And here's a sneak peek. This is a slip stitch, so this blocks out. I'll show you the swatch. So anyways, a cardigan. So it's knit in one piece. So far I have, wow, that red is really blasting out. But anyway, I've got about 12 inches. So I'll show you my swatch. So see how it blocks. So this is the difference. Quite a difference between the blocked and the unblocked. Well, I don't know if you can really tell the difference, but it is. So anyway, so this is a sneak peek. I'm hoping this will come out in the late fall. So that's kind of a push. But I did get yarn support for this, so I really feel obligated to get it out. I'm already late, and I'm really enjoying knitting this. This is a nice, relaxing knit. It's super easy. So like I say, the color work is just slipping. It's called Mosaic, and it's no shaping. It's going to have sizes, I think I have sizes up to 52 or 54. Right from 32 to 52 or 54. So really, really nice and smooshy. It's going to be nice and warm. And I'm going to show you my project bag. I'm quite embarrassed. Here it is. This is a book bag from the public library. It is beautiful. I call this Stephen West lime green. But anyway, that's the only bag I had that was big enough. So that's it for my works in progress. So, put it over there and get rid of that. Get those. So I have two needle adjacent projects. So, because I'm almost finished a sock, and I did not go into my sock club. I had a sock in mind that I wanted to knit. Here, this is not the latest Vogue. This is the spring and summer 2015 Vogue, and there is a sock in here. This one. You can see that. There we go. So that sock. It's just called the vertically stranded colorwork sock. And it's a technique I haven't tried. And I fell in love with it, of course. And it's by Lori V. Beltman. So I made a photocopy for my project bag. So this yarn is the yarn I'm going to use. It's greener than that. It's showing up yellow, but it's greener than that. So this is a colorway called Loaded Hot Dog, and this is by Dye Guy Yarns and Fibers on the Saki Taki base, which is 80% superwash merino wool and 20% nylon. So I bought this he has a little shop. He has an online shop, but he has a little shop in Jordan, Ontario, at Jordan Station. And I went there in May to visit some family, and of course talked my husband into going on a road trip. And Jordan Station, what a nice little village or town, or it was so clean, and they had this beautiful little main street. with this little museum shop or gift shop that, anyway, I would love to live there. If I was not living here, I would love to live there. Probably really expensive too, but anyway. So I bought this, and I think I'm going to use this dark green leftovers for the colorwork part in the for this. And so I'm bribing myself to finish that other sock so I can get this sock on the needles. So this is my one needle adjacent project, and I have one more. So I did a technical editing job for a client. Actually one of my first clients, and she told me that it was for a mystery knit along, and I really liked the project. And then so I emailed her and I said, I have some yarn that I've been trying to think of what to do, and I'd really like to join the knit along. I said, I won't, I'll participate, but I don't need any prizes. I said, so I'd really like to join. And she said, oh, that would be great. So the knit along, let me see if I can find it, is in Lindsay Luchuk on Ravelry. Her username is Knit Echo Chic, and I'll put the link. She has a group, and it's called the Shawl Pin Shawl Mystery Knit Along. It starts on August 26th, and it goes to September 18th. Now Lindsay has, I forget what it's called, but she's a lot of sensitivities, and she's deathly allergic to wool or any natural animal fiber. So she knits a lot in linen and cotton and organic, and she really lives the organic eco lifestyle. So I'm not, fortunately, sensitive the way she is, so I don't have to use organic yarn. So I'm not. But check out her website, or her group, because it's very interesting. She has a lot of options in there if you are. It's amazing the number of yarns, and she has some interesting techniques in her patterns. So I love editing her patterns because they're very interesting. So I'm using for mine, see if you can see that, Boboli Lace by Barocco. I have 2 balls, so it actually comes in 2 sizes, small and large, and I have enough for the large. And I want to use up this yarn, and it's this beautiful blue color, like with grays and pinks and turquoises in it. So I really, really like that. I've been wanting to use it. It's 42% wool, 35% acrylic, and 23% viscose. So absolutely nothing organic in here at all, other than I'm using it from my stash, which is good. And I'm really looking forward to getting started on this project. Hello, Bella. So my cat is coming to join us. So that is next week starting. All right. And not the last thing I want to talk about. I have so many things. So the other thing I took a course on in Olds was Tunisian crochet. Now I know how to crochet. I learned to crochet when I was a child. In fact, I learned to crochet before I learned how to knit. And I crochet projects occasionally. I go through crochet, knit, crochet. And one thing I learned when I was really young and poor, okay, poorer than I am now, is that crochet takes a lot more yarn than knitting takes. So that's when I started knitting more than crocheting. But anyway, so Tunisian crochet has been intriguing to me for quite a while. So when the course was offered, and I was really, I guess it was probably the first thing that I signed up for. So I signed up for the course, and it was, I can't remember the lady's name who taught it, but I got right into it. So I decided to practice by learning some basic stitches, and for each basic stitch I made a washcloth for our trip. So this turquoisey color, that's the color of the towels in our washroom. So this is called the Tunisian simple stitch, which I did on the diagonal. So I made that one. That looks like knitting, but it's not. I crocheted it. So it's actually called the knit stitch. And this is called the purl stitch, I think. Or this is called the reverse stitch or something like that. I'll put it, anyway. And this one is the knit stitch purled or something. Anyway, I didn't like this one. I probably won't use it again. But so anyway, I quite like these. I actually have never made dishcloths before or washcloths before. I've used them. I get gifted them quite often. Or I buy them like at craft fairs because I do like them. Actually, I like them for face cloths. So anyway, these will be coming into our trailer. I, of course, bought a set of the interchangeable needles, and I'm hoping during the trip that I will I'll buy some patterns, and maybe I will get really good at it, like master it, or not master it, but get really good at it, because it is very interesting. It's lots of fun. So I bought some stitch pattern books, and anyway, really, a lot of people say it's a cross between knitting and crocheting, but I don't really see that. I see it as being its totally own thing, and it's more crochet than knitting because you can like toss in some crochet stitches in there if you want to, and when you are using a hook. I think the only thing that's really similar to knitting is that you have like a whole bunch of stitches on the needle, but I don't really see it being that similar to knitting. But anyway, so that was my Tunisian crochet experience, which I enjoyed a lot. Like I said, I took some dyeing courses in Olds, and that got my dyeing mojo going. So I decided to dye some yarn. So one of the things I was looking for in the market at Olds was some gradient sets, and I did not see one gradient set. So I decided to dye one. And I was so pleased, and sorry, here, with the outcome. So, here, I'll put this in order. I dyed this gradient. These the dark ones might actually be the same, but anyway. Here we go. This gradient. Can you see it? I might like green anyway. Look how intense that green is. I was so pleased. Like I mixed that color and came up with it on my own. So this, I don't know what to do with it yet, but it's coming with me. And if you have ideas what to do with it, I have 5 skeins. Each one. So it started off as this. This is Elan A Series W02 mercerized wool. So it's 100%, I think it's superwash. I don't know if it's superwash. Yes, it is superwash. Anyway, there are, how many grams? 96 yards in each one. So there's 50 grams, so each one of these is 96 yards. So I have like almost 500 yards of the gradient part. And then I have got 400 yards of the cream, or the white. So I think that would make a really beautiful project, or a shawl. I want it to be for me. I keep thinking of making something for Penny, my granddaughter, but I'd like to make it for me. So it might have to be a shawl, because I don't think there's enough there for anything else in my size. But so I was very, very pleased with that. So I dyed that, and then I had this soft yarn. It's Knit Picks. I actually bought this on sale, I think at their, I know, one of their big sales. It's Stroll Tweed, and it's North Pole Heather. Anyway, it's this pale blue that I bought 10 of them, and thinking I might make a fingering weight sweater. It is not a color I would wear, or I would want anybody I know would wear. So I put 2 together to make 100 grams, thinking I'll over dye it, and just try 100 grams to start with, and over dye it and see if I could make some color I would make socks out of. And I made this pretty turquoise color. So I would definitely use this color. So this is the before and after. So I was pretty happy with that. And then the last thing that I wanted to show you that I dyed is I had some merino lace. I wanted to make a lace weight cardigan. So I had 2 skeins of bare merino lace, and I dyed it in the crock pot. So there's about 1,600 yards here. Enough for a lace weight cardigan. I don't know what one, but anyway, there's enough there for that. So that was pretty successful. And now I want to dye lots more, so I'm looking forward to when we're home in May to do some more dyeing. But I have certainly enough to do while we're on the road. And spinning. I know I told you I had a lot to talk about, and I do apologize. But anyway, so again, at one of the things I really look forward to when I go to Olds is the market. And one of my absolute favorite booths is the West Coast Fiber booth. And so this year I bought some Falkland. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, that's showing up much more neon than it really is. Or, I mean, it is in my camera. I don't know how it'll show up. But anyway, so I got 275 grams of this. And it is really nice. Now, I've never spun with Falkland before, so that's why I bought it. I wanted to try it out. And here is 75 grams of it, starting to spin up. So it's spinning up really, really nice. And I'm gonna do a 2-ply. So I have no idea. This is 75 grams, and I have this much left. So I think I should get quite a bit. But when I'm done and I see how much I have, I'll decide what I'm going to do with it. I really love all the different little bits of colors, the red, and I mean there's even some, I don't know, pink in there, like not pink, but like fuchsia colors coming out in there. So I really, really like that. So I'm spinning that probably. I'm hoping to get that done before I go, because I'm spinning that on one wheel, and I'm taking a smaller wheel with me. So I'm hoping to get that done because I can't spin as fine on the other wheel. But if I don't, I don't. And then, 'cause because I bought that beautiful project bag, I decided to make some for the trip. Because as you can see, my project bags are a lot to be desired. I do have, like, obviously I bought this one, and my girlfriend made me my other sock bag, but I thought it would be nice on the trip to have some like real project bags. So I'm a sewer, I'm a quilter, so I thought, how hard could it be? Yeah. Anyway, so I got out some fabrics that I have been collecting, and I committed myself because you know, I told everybody I'm making project bags. So I started by making some drawstring project bags. So start small. So the first one I made is this one. Now this is really small. Like, I think it could be a sock bag, but I actually made it with my granddaughter in mind. She loves, can you see? There's little ladybugs on there. Ladybugs. And it's got like ladybug dot fabric on the inside. And like I said, she started school, so I made her just a little, maybe a lunch sack, or, you know, something like that, or maybe she just wants to keep it in her room for toys or something. So, and yes, I'm going to show you all the bags. I'm sorry. But stick around, because there's a surprise one here for you too. So anyway, so that's the first one. And then I made one for myself. And look at this. These foxes are wearing sweaters. Aren't they adorable? I mean, I actually, I had one fat quarter of this, and then I went online looking for more, and I found some, but I didn't buy it because I'm not taking my sewing machine. So this is a really good sized bag. I could put a shawl in here, or a sweater for my granddaughter. So again, and then I put these little, I mean, look fancy and everything, right? So anyway, so I put these on here. That turned out really well. And okay, so here is the reason why I did this. Is when I talked to Lindsay about the Mystery Knit Along, I offered to donate a project bag as a prize. I know. I didn't even know if I could make one. But I did. So I made one for the Knit Along. And here is the prize. So here it is. See, this fabric looks like knitting. And it's the same size as, so like a medium-sized bag. It's got the drawstring. And it's got these little locky things. That's the technical term. And it's got the bottom that, so it can sit flat. And I tested it. It does sit flat. And you can turn the top over if you want. It's got this really pretty yellow swirly lining. So all you need to do to win this, all you need to do is knit a shawl. So join Lindsay's group, join into the Knit Along, finish the shawl, and you could possibly win this prize. Win this beautiful, beautiful, exclusive, because I am not going to sell bags, project bag by me. So now I'm going to send a photo to Lindsay so she can put it in her group. And I'm going to be taking this with me, so I will mail it anywhere in the world. So if you know, if you there's no restrictions at all. And I mean, if you like this one better, let me know. And you can have either one. Okay, so then I moved on to zippered bags. And I made this one. And I was pretty chuffed with myself. So this would be like the one up from the sock bag. It's got like it's a triangle bag. Like I got a little measuring, I had some ribbon, so I put a little measuring tape. Can you see it? Yeah, there you go. So it's got a handle, so pretty happy with that. And I had some leftover, okay, this is hilarious. It was late at night and I had a beer. And I had some leftover fox fabric. Okay, yeah. It can be a sock bag. A long skinny. So anyway, it's narrow at the top. But, I mean, yeah. It'll still work for a sock bag. But it's got, that's how much, I only had that much fox fabric left and I wanted it. Move it over there. I wanted to use it. So I made it work. Then I made a little sock bag with the leftover ladybugs. And then I made a bigger bag. And I didn't realize this, but look, if you look closely and use your imagination, those owls have sweaters. They do. They have sweaters. So this is a bit bigger one, and I have a nice flat bottom. And then I made a gigantic one. And I love fall flowers, so, and that's it. I mean, that's enough. If I have more projects than that, then they deserve to go in those other bags, right? Like, that's probably enough projects. So, yeah, I've been really busy, and now I can pack up all that stuff. And so really the only thing I have left to tell you about is acquisitions. So I have no yarn acquisitions, except for the yarn that's at my mother's house. But I can't show you that because it's not here. But I did get 2 books. My birthday was in July, and my husband gave me a gift card to Chapters Indigo. So I purchased some books because that's what they sell. So the first one I got was this one. Knitting Fresh Brioche by Nancy Marchant. So she's the brioche queen. And this is the book that has the willow pattern in it. And I do have her first book, which is just called Knitting Brioche. I love this book. First of all, she explains how to knit brioche, 2-color brioche. So this is all 2-color brioche. And so first of all, she explains how to knit brioche in it, which takes up, a good portion of the book. And then it's like a stitch dictionary. So she's got a whole bunch of patterns with charts and written directions. So like, and she shows you the front and the back. And then she's got a chart and the written directions. And then she's got 12 patterns. And like, I am in love. Look at this one. That's, I think, what can make that. That's called the peacock one. Peacock, Vita's Peacock. And the one that I want to make, like, here's the willow one. That's the one that I'm making right now. The next one that I want to make is this one. It's called Ring of Fire. It's a cowl. Isn't that beautiful? So, definitely, I think this was $24. And so I love this book. So, taking that one with me. And then the other book I got was, oh, I have fluff in my nose. A crochet book. It's called Rustic Modern Crochet by Yumiko Alexander. Is that her name? Yeah. I haven't really had a chance to go through this one. And she has a lot of really interesting non-traditional crochet patterns in here, and I'm going to show you the one that I bought it for. Is this one right there. But I also I love the one on the cover, but this one, I really like this one. Here we go. And so the shapes are oversized, a little chunky. There's hats, there's scarves. This water lily one is really cute. I like that one. I think that would look good, really good in like a hand spun yarn. So it's just sort of different. Like some of them are, I would not make. Some of them are like really traditional looking. What I think, like I probably wouldn't wear that one. I'd probably like get all my arms and fingers and things stuck in the holes, but and I just don't really have the, I don't know, verve or whatever you call it to pull it off, but I really like them. So but since I really wanted that one pattern, and there's probably 2 or 3 in here that I would make, I decided to get it. So I'm really happy that I did. So that's about it. I have been talking for, oh my god, over an hour. So I probably will be, I am going to podcast on the road. And so next time I talk to you, I will be podcasting from home. And I have a project plan for on the road that I'm going to show you because it's really cool. I'm going to talk about my yarn storage solution because I am taking quite a lot of my stash with me. So I'm going to talk about my yarn storage while I'm on the road. My cool needle storage thing that I made. And I'm going to talk about the studio that Michael built me, which is also really cool. So those are for next time. So until next time, be happy, knit lots, take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. And thanks for joining me. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Anyway,